place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan, you can't relate. Straight talk going, it's not safe. Before you cross me, look both ways. Leaving the scene with no trace, none in my league. You out of place, I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan, you can't relate. Straight talk going, state to state.
What's going on, guys? Your host, your boy, George Mackay. I'm back. It's March. Springtime is in the air. It's literally so close that we can taste it. Cold weather may not totally be behind us yet here in Canada, but still, we're vibing. And the great thing is as of March 1st, restrictions are lifted. That's right. Wrestling shows are coming back full time. And I got somebody who's got an upstart promotion that we all should be paying close attention to, at least here in Ontario. He's from Oshawa. If you've ever been to a crossbody show, you know him. If you've seen him at HPW, you know him. And if you train with him at Superkicked, you probably know him too. Please help me welcome to Straight Talk Wrestling for the first time, Andrew Love. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Like, we've been wanting to do this for so long and stuff keeps coming up and getting in our way, but we're here now, finally.
Yeah, man. I think it's been like a 2-year journey on and off, because I think the one time we kind of talked about the idea was at the Destiny summer event, Destiny Summer Heat. It was the barbecue. And I said, listen, when you're ready, let me know and we'll get on it. And here we are, like literally almost 3 years later, and it's finally happening.
Finally. It's wild.
It is. It's crazy. It's crazy to see the development. And you know what? It's hard. It's so hard when you're interviewing indie wrestlers to find a lot of information, especially Canadian indie wrestlers, because there's not a lot out there. So when my daughter and I were researching questions for you, she was like, Dad, did he train at crossbody? I'm like, I'm not sure. So we'll start with that. And then if you watch the 5 questions before you watch this conversation, you'll know that, in fact, you trained at Superkick. So that's something I learned. I did not learn. Yeah, but I have talked to a few people that have worked at Superkick and did train at Superkick. How was Chris Chambers? I know very well, and he's an awesome human being, fantastic talent. What's it like learning from somebody who has that much history and that much veteran leadership behind him when you're getting into wrestling for the first time?
Yeah, it was wild. It was it's a lot of like it was hard. They're hard on us there. They were. And like I'm no longer there. I haven't been there since 2019, but I can tell like my stuff. And like it's just the people there were awesome. The shows were wild. Like the shows are inspiration for sure. And it's just like I couldn't ask for a better first 2 years in wrestling, like to learn by people like him. Like he showed me a lot, but like I have to thank a lot more Rip Impact, because he's shown me, like he's taught me a lot more in the last 3 years. But my first 2 years of training, like I'm so thankful for them. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for those first 2 years, obviously.
And this is a question I haven't asked in a long time, but I always love this because I think everybody shows a different answer for this question. The first bump you ever took, what was your reaction to that?
All right, so I'm gonna like push it back like a couple years before I started training.
Okay.
I was at an indie show when I was 14. I was at an indie show, and like they're letting people run in the ring and kids and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna take a bump. I took a bump, and it like killed me. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to start doing this, but that hurt. So my first actual training bump was like my second day of training. And geez, there's like 10 in a row. There's like seated flat bumps, 10 in a row. And like I didn't hit my head, thankfully, but like my head was like ringing, my like body was ringing. And I'm like, so yeah, it sucked. They all sucked until like you get used to them. Like, they don't never not suck. Cause like over time they like rip up your body. But I'm glad they don't feel like those first bumps all the time.
The adrenaline from the first couple of bumps were probably like, yeah, okay, I'm good. But then the couple days after, you're like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, you got like rope marks on your back, arms. It's rough.
So the first time I ever saw you was at a crossbody show. I think I saw you on one of they used to have the Friday night showcase shows, $5 to get in, check out the talent. And I saw you, saw Kyle Brooks, and I saw Crystal Moon. And you three, I think the first time I ever saw you was in like a mixed trio smash of some kind. It was a 3-on-3, it was a 6-man, and it was you three versus, I can't remember who the other 3 people were, but it was one hell of a match. And I noticed right off the bat that you're very quiet. Like I saw you when you came in, because I got to the show early. I always like to get to the shows early so I can get a good seat, because when they're $5, it's first come, first serve. So you better get there early if you want to get a decent seat. And I always like to get a ringside seat, because when I take pictures and I film stuff, I want to make sure I have like the ring, not somebody's head, and I have to go over it. It's annoying. When you see somebody's head in the shot, I feel like I'm a pirate from Russia and I'm trying to stream a movie online for free. So I always try to get I always try to get the ring scope. But I saw you guys, and right away, I think I gravitated to the three of you because you came in, you looked very comfortable, but you're all very quiet. But now I've seen the three of you progress and grow as individuals. And you three, as I went to Crossbody more and more before the pandemic struck, you three became the three quietest to the three loudest. And I guess that's just a matter of over time developing that confidence. And would you say that wrestling helped you develop the confidence that you have now? I mean, I already know the answer is a yes, but I'm sure it definitely helped for sure.
Like before I started training when I was 16, I would like go to school and I'd go straight home. I wouldn't go to parties or anything. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't hang out with people. Like I had my friends, my small group of friends, but like I wouldn't do anything. So when I met those people, they were like making me come to shows, right? And like even like when I was like 13, 14 and all them going to indie shows all the way until like I started training, I was going to indie shows. And like that's the only time I would be like socials, wrestling shows. But like when I started training, I'd get dressed in the corner. I would like stay by myself, and people like made me talk to them. Like promo day was rough back then. Like it'd be like it made you like talk to people. So like over the years, like, yeah, I'm getting more comfortable and like I can like go out and talk to anybody ever. And so like obviously I still suffer from like anxiety and stuff, but it's obviously since I started wrestling, it's gotten way like I'm more social. So yeah, it's helped. And yeah, I used to be super quiet in the ring, and like now I'm like really loud. Like I lost my voice on the show I did the other day.
Well, that's great. That's great. It's great to hear that. You know, mental health is a real issue, and a lot of people talk about it now. The stigma is no longer a stigma. It's out there. There's a lot of great avenues that you could pursue, from help therapy. Listen, I myself have gone through therapy. I suffered from a rough bout of anxiety just this past December. Work wasn't going really good. Podcast was kind of up and down. I was in my own head a lot. And I had the great support system of my wife, a couple good friends, and my kids that helped me pull through it. Not everybody is as blessed as I am to have that support system. But if you don't have that support system, I assure you there are avenues out there all the time. And I'm a big advocate for mental health because we always got to keep the conversation going. It can never be stopped. It can never be, shuttered away to say, just, stop. Don't talk about it. Men aren't supposed to talk about emotions, Andrew. If we were raised by old school parents, I was raised by like an old school dad. And even to this day, he doesn't really share his emotion too much. And it's like, men, if you're a man, you're not supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to show emotion. Fuck that shit. Listen, ever since my daughters were born, I'm not going to lie. Andrew, you're a Canadian boy. You know that Rogers commercial with the girl broken down on the side of the road? And the dad's on the phone and he's like, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I fucking blubber like a baby because that's me. I'm a girl dad. That's what if my kid was broken down the side of the road, I'm going to stay on the fucking phone till a tow truck shows up. 150%. So over the years, emotion has become a lot more easier to express. And it's not anything that anybody should shy away from. When you're angry, be angry. When you're happy, be happy. When you're sad, be sad. And it is absolutely okay to cry. But my next question being, the fact that it helped pull you out, and you talked about promo days being so rough. What was the guidance you got early on from Chris Chambers in promo day, or when you went to Rip Impact School and you had to do promo day there as well? What was the guidance these two men gave you? Because like I said, between the two of them, you're talking close to 30 years in this business.
Yeah. It's like, just don't think. Like, if you keep talking, you're going to get to your point eventually. And like, obviously have like cues where you're going, but like just go out there and talk, and like it's much better, easier that way than just like overthinking it beforehand. Like if you had like a subject, it's like, hey, cut a promo on this chicken, then you're gonna cut a promo on that chicken. It's much easier than like this is much easier than going out there thinking about your own object to cut a promo on. Absolutely. Like we've all seen that Eric Bischoff like interview where he talks about the broom, and we watched the broom promo. Like that stuff happens in wrestling school all the time.
It does. It absolutely does. You're right. When I think of some of the promoters that you've worked with, some of the guys that you've had the guidance from, I mean, Ben Ortman's out in Crossbody. He puts on one hell of a show. him and Tid really know how to develop stories and develop characters and keep people interested. It's almost episodic. And on the indies, you rarely get that. But you really have to continue to follow the crossbody shows, or else if you miss a show, you'll be all out of the loop. You'll be like, what the fuck? I'm so confused because I missed the last show. I don't know the storylines that are happening. And in indie wrestling, so hard to do to keep like an episodic series going. And then you look at a guy like Rip Impact or a guy like Chris Chambers, production value alone between the three of those men is iconic. It's very astronomical. And now you yourself, you're going from in front of the ring to being behind the ring, leading the ship, also being out in front of the ring to have to perform. And you talked about how Oshawa, there's so much great talent that Oshawa never gets to see. So now you're bringing ACW to the masses. The first event is called Sink or Swim, and it's on March 12th. Tickets are still available, or at least by the time that this interview drops, which will be a couple days before the show, because I'm going to drop this next week. We're filming this early March, but I'm going to drop it second week of March. I'm going to drop 2 that week, so it'll be you and somebody else. You want to know who the other person is? Got to pay attention to socials. Can't tell you. Got to pay attention to socials. But ACW, Sink or Swim. Now, the title is very poetic, right? ACW, like you said, there's real no meaning for it. Can be whatever you want. I personally would, when I saw the name, I was trying to think, I'm like, what the fuck does it stand for? What does it stand for? And I thought, Andrew, no, he wouldn't use his own name. That's stupid. He wouldn't do that. And then I thought Alpha Collision Wrestling, or Alliances Collide Wrestling. I thought of a few names, but they were all like, you know, when you're in the bathroom, you just scroll on your phone, you're sitting there going, what the fuck could this mean? So it was just like, it was just literally bathroom thoughts. It was like, it's my quiet space. I could get in here and I could think of a bunch of names. But now we know from the mini host that it actually doesn't have a meaning. It could be whatever you want it to be. If you think ACW stands for this, then it probably does. In your own mind, that's fine.
Yeah.
But Sink or Swim, very poetic, right? Because this is the first event. And you could sink, you could tank, or you could swim and rise to the top. So pressure, are you feeling pressure as the event gets closer?
Yes. Yeah. We've been feeling pressure since like February 12th, when we're like 1 month away. And like, that's when all of us, we just felt it, like, and this show almost didn't happen. Like, no one else knows this, but like, it almost got like pushed away because of that. But you know what, we're going to go in, and because the show is called Sink or Swim, we're either going to sink or we're going to swim. There's no other option. It's those two. I've lived my whole wrestling career that way. You go out there, you either sink or swim. Yeah, maybe I have sank a couple times, but I always find my way back up. And I feel the same about ACW, because like, if you're wearing a life jacket, you're not gonna sink.
So ACW then is your life jacket.
Yes, yeah. I have hope. We all have hope for it. It's like, pre-sales are beautiful. Like, we just hit 100, and they're gonna keep coming through. Yeah, thank you. The venue is like amazing. They're giving us so much. Like, they're helping us so much too.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So talk to me about the roster. I know from the graphic that you posted, we got the standard Matt Grant. I love him. He's one of my good friends in this business, but fuck, when he's in the ring, I want to punch him in the face. I really do. He plays the heel to absolute perfection, because I think people underrate him because of his size and stature. Yeah. But he really can make you hate him quite easily, almost to the point where it's not a shock. It's like, yeah, you deserve to be hated. But he's such a nice guy, which is so frustrating. And then I know you got Crystal Moon, you got yourself. Who else could we expect to see at ACW? Who else we got on the roster thus far?
We got Kobe Christ, the Kaizen champion. That's who I'm wrestling. We got Chip Chambers versus Rip Impact. We have Crystal Moon versus Addie Starr. Johnny DeLuca versus Brother Earth. Gunnar Lang versus Steve Brown. We have a 4-way, hasn't been announced yet. I don't know if it'll be announced yet, but yeah, I'll let you guys know, because it will be announced by the time this comes out.
Aha, you got to pay attention to socials. You fucked me on my own show. That's not cool.
But we have Jax Williams on the show. We have Darius King, who is a super kick guy. Mike Forte, Adrian A-Star. I don't know if I missed anyone. If I did, sorry. Obviously Empire, and then we have some other guys. We have Mia Malik versus Travis Moore, which I'm looking forward to that match big time.
Yeah.
these are just like awesome people and great connections I met over the years, I guess. We have Brad Myers, Jamie, the ring announcer, Austin from the Karis Dynasty is going to be one of our refs. Yeah, I think I might have just named the whole roster, and we're gonna have a little bit more. Oh, we have a band. We have a band that's going to be playing during intermission. That's different, right?
That is extremely different. That's cool. I like that.
And they're a wrestling themed band, which is perfect.
Powerbomb?
Nope. Dave Rocket and the Jobbers.
Okay, because I thought when you think wrestling theme, I think Powerbomb comes top of the list, right?
Yeah, thought about it. Hopefully down the road.
Next one for sure. That sounds like a stacked roster of some amazing matchups that you put together. Now, will this be one-off matchups, or will you try to develop that kind of indie episodic feel to it? Do you have a YouTube page? Can people stream this? Are you going to be on IPTV? Like, what's IPWTV? Like, what's the goal here for ACW?
Yeah, we want to get on the indie wrestling TV for sure. Like, that's where all the top promotions are. So we would love that. But right now, I think we're just going to work for YouTube, towards YouTube over time. So like over the next few months, pay attention to YouTube, and hopefully we stay on the rise.
Nice. And have we designed belts? Do we have championships yet?
No, but there is a match in the main event, and the winner will get a medal. And there's going to be a bunch of matches over time, and then they all go into one big match, and then that will be declared the first ever ACW champion.
I like it. That's
no,
different. So the medal is almost like punching your ticket to the main.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Yep.
Nice. It's like winning a Royal Rumble without really winning a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I suppose.
So what are you calling it? The race for the gold? Is that why the medals?
Yeah, there's no name yet. That works. Race for the gold. That's it.
There you go. I'll let you have that one. I'll let you have it as long as you give me credit. Every time you post it, you got to say race to the gold. Thanks, Straight Talk Wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was the early influences for you in wrestling? I mean, I know you're a fan. You've been a fan for a while, but when you were younger to when you discovered wrestling to, I guess, where you are now, tastes evolve, tastes change. So who did you start gravitating towards, and what are your tastes like now when it comes to the big TV production stuff?
So people won't believe this, but this is true. Wrestling was on when I was being born. Like my whole my great grandparents watched it. My great uncles watched it. My uncles, my aunts, everyone watched it. So obviously I watched it too. It was just, and it's not that I had no choice. It's just it was just always on. Like I remember my first memories of wrestling, or my first memory of life or wrestling related, like everything. My whole life, I'd come home from school wrestling. I'd go to school. We'd bring our action figures, show each other our figures and stuff. We would and my whole life has been based on wrestling. There's nothing else I ever loved more than wrestling. And then when I was grade 1, we had to do this thing where it was hey, what do you want to be when you're older? Man, I said a wrestler, right? And it was written in the yearbook. It didn't say wrestler under my name, unfortunately, for some reason. It said dentist. I remember I didn't say dentist. Some guy wanted to be a wrestler too. Hopefully he made it. I forget his name, but hopefully he's somewhere out here in the awesome world of wrestling. That'd be cool. But they just didn't put wrestlers for people who said wrestler. Then I discovered super kick when I was 15, and then they're oh yeah, you can start training when you're 16. And so when I was 16, I started training, and it's all uphill from there. But it really became in my mind that this is possible in 2013 when I went to my first indie show, which was a Great Canadian Wrestling Show in Oshawa. And I'm oh my God, there's local wrestling. And from there, I discovered other Oshawa local wrestling. I discovered Alpha One. I discovered PWG because of that, AIW in Cleveland. And I discovered all these promotions around the world. I'm oh my God, there's this thing outside of WWE, TNA, New Japan. When I was 10, I discovered Ring of Honor, and that's that really changed my life. So it's I realized there's more than what I see on TV, and that's okay, this is possible.
Absolutely, it is completely possible. People think it's chasing it. It's like chasing that hockey or that basketball dream where only 1 or 2% make it. You can have a successful career. Maybe because you're not on TV doesn't mean you're not successful. You can literally work every weekend, every couple of days, show to show, sometimes do 2 or 3 shows a day, depending on logistics and travel time. But you can really make a living at this. And that's what the one thing I always want to pride on is people chase their dreams. If there's a young man or a young woman that watches any of these interviews, any of these conversations that I do, and they get inspired to do it, that's the most rewarding thing. YouTube's not about the views. It's not about the subscriptions, for sure. Who doesn't love those? As long as you're getting views, you know that you're reaching people. And, you know, like the thing that's frustrating is you look at, for example, you look at the analytics of YouTube. Sometimes the views are way down, but the watch hours are way up. Sometimes the subscriber count is so high, but the views and the watch hours don't translate. A lot of times people don't comment. People don't even like it. And it's so frustrating because it takes all of 3 seconds to just hit that subscribe button. And nobody takes the time to do it. What's most frustrating to me is that I look at my analytics all the time, and it's like 35% of content is watched by subscribers. And then there's 65% that isn't. And it's like, man, if you 65% just took the time and just hit that subscribe button, you know how much that would help to keep putting content in, because I don't make a dime off this. It's either people giving me their time, or sometimes I've had to pay to have talent on the show. I'm not going to shy away from it. There's big names that I've had on the show that I have had to pay for the time, but that's okay, because that's somebody I wanted to conversate with. And so it's rewarding to me. It
helps you.
Yeah, exactly. It helps me. It helps me grow. Like the equipment, I that's out of my own pocket. All the figures behind me to make a nice background, it's out of my own pocket. This stuff's not donated. I didn't win this. People just gave it to me. I went out and bought this stuff, or I met all these people and I paid for the autographs, because that's what it's about. That's how much I love wrestling. And this whole collection of things that I've amassed is not to show off. It's just because that's how passionate I am. It's a full-time passion for me. Yeah, I have my 9-to-5 job, but there's a full-time passion. So what gave you the idea to go from, I guess, you know, training, you're working, you're getting booked at Crossbody, you're getting booked at HPW, you did, you know, all this stuff, things are happening, things are percolating, and then you decide, okay, now's the time. Why was now the time? Because you've been in this since you were 16. How old are you now?
I'm 21. So
21. I'm almost double your age. Thanks for making me feel old, man.
Yeah, I'm heading to 5 years this year. So
5 years. So after 5 years, what made you decide that this was the right time to roll the dice and fly the flag of ACW?
Yeah, it's just like, it's just something like I've always wanted to do. Like ACW, I used to write it in like my work pages, like at school. Like I'd write it on like my binder, ACW, and like, what is this? Like, oh, it's a wrestling company I'm gonna run one day. So it's like me and my buddy, we like wanted to do this forever. My buddy Noah, and we used to play ACW on 2K, like 2K, like 15 and 16 and all that. So like we knew it was gonna happen one day. Did we know it was gonna be like when we're 21? No. But last summer, it was my birthday, and I rented the ring from Rip Impact, and I invited a bunch of family and friends over for free. I booked some boys from Hamilton and stuff, and I ran a wrestling show in my backyard just for my family and friends and cousins and stuff. And there was like 25 of them, and it poured rain, and everybody still did the show. And I'm like, oh my God, if we can get like just 25 people for free, imagine like what we can do like in a venue. And like, we've already like probably like got more than we expected now, but I made sure I booked most of those people that did that show in the backyard, because they were there in the low times when it was just like a ghetto show just for fun. And I paid everybody on that ghetto show, right? Like you said, like I didn't make any money in my backyard. My family didn't make any money. You know what? They allowed me to use our backyard. They allowed us to use the kitchen for the locker room, and like we protected everything, and like it was cool. Like, and one day the footage will get out. I have it. Nobody's ever gotten it. It just sits on my computer. But one day there'll be like an unreleased ACW stuff, and like it was wild. So we're like, yeah, next year we got to do it in a venue. We got to do it. And we're like, how about March? Like, let's do it. And so I called venues, and they're like, nah, you never ran a show before. We don't want to really trust you. You know what I mean? And then I found this one venue, and it was up there, but it was also like a concert hall, and we're like, this can work. And then they called back, and we met in the middle, and we made a deal, and like they helped us so much. They allowed me to come into like concerts and shows for free, and I'm like, I can't get any better than this. Like, if I love anything more than wrestling, it's music. And now I can mix both of my loves together.
And that's pretty cool. When you could reach that peak at such a young age and you can mix both of your loves and your passions together, it definitely helps people grow and evolve and get better. So what's the best thing that you could hope for as a promoter for a first time show? You already said you broke 100 ticket sales. You just got to make sure that Murphy's Law won't fuck you, and Murphy's Law will fuck you. It will.
Yeah.
You have to be able to adjust on the fly and work through those things. And hopefully the anxiety doesn't perk up and you're able to just push through. But if Sacred Swim is a success, how often are you planning to run shows? And are you going to just stay in Oshawa? Or are you planning to branch out? Maybe do a joint venture with HPW, maybe do a joint venture with Crossbody, maybe hit up Chris Chambers and go back after 3 years and say, buddy, let's do something together.
Yeah, that'd be wild. There's a lot of people like being like, yeah, I get where you're going with the vibe, and I don't want to like mention anything, but like we do have like the music style vibe and like the concert vibe and stuff, the good production that's probably going to be there. But my goal for ACW, is that mainly the question, right? My goal, it would be just like not every month, because like that's a lot, and maybe like, but obviously like more than like 4 shows a year. Like right now we're just like taking it slow because you don't know what like the future will bring. And that anxiety's hitting real hard. Like every day it's like, hey, yeah, we're only a week away and a week and a half away. It's like, oh no. And it's like, oh yeah, the show's coming up this quick. It's like, geez. And but I do expect it to be like successful for a little bit, and like should be extra. Like people will want more. That's all I want, is people to be like, when is the next one? Because it's more than family and friends this time. It's like people are coming from all around Ontario. Like I've seen the ticket sales. It's wild. And it's way more than I expected.
That's awesome, man. I'm proud of you. And I congratulate you, because the hustle is real and the hard work is real and the passion is real. And when I talk to you, I feel that passion. I do. I feel that passion. So I guess the biggest question is that when you say more than 4 a year, are you looking realistically at every 2 months, every 3 months? Is that the eventuality? Like, will we see, if this show goes well, and I'm sure it will, if this show goes well, will we see another ACW show, say in the summertime? Because now you're hitting springtime. Now we're going to rock one out in the summer, like June, July, August, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I would love for July. Yeah. That's
Okay.
my birthday month. And my birthday does run on a Saturday this year. And I've never wrestled on my exact birthday. I've wrestled on the 17th and the 15th, but I've never wrestled on the 16th.
On the
July.
16th.
So
All right.
we'll see what it brings. And then I think one of the other management's birthday runs on a Saturday, or their birthday falls on a Saturday this year too. And if it does, then that could be a possibility too. So I say one more for sure this year after Sink or Swim.
Okay.
Maybe
I think that's
more.
that's a realistic goal. I think that's a very realistic goal. So you mentioned the other management. So I'm assuming it's you, and you mentioned your friend Noah. Are you two like the top tier of the promotion?
Yeah. And then it's Gunnar Lang, and then somebody else who doesn't want to be known, right? But you know, the cowboy Gunnar Lang?
Yes.
The Iron Cowboy. Yeah, he's the other guy, but I'm like the head. So I'm like the final say. Everything goes through me, but everything's put together. So it's like a big thing. Like we all agree. We try to all agree, and then I make the final say. Because like doesn't matter how long you've been friends or who you are, like you're not going to agree on everything.
Nope.
You're all going to have your disagreements at some point, but we always find a way to meet in the middle.
That's a very positive attitude. You're a very well put together young fellow, I must say. You're only 21. I mean, I got literally double the age on you. Not yet, not totally, but I'm almost there. I'm going to be 39 this year. You're only going to be 20 fucking two. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hurtful. It's hurtful. No, it's not. It's inspiring. It's inspiring to see the next generation of promotions in Ontario seems to be in very good hands. Now, the venue. So the show is, again, like I said, for everyone that I didn't announce the date or the address, but the show is ACW Sink or Swim, 39 King Street East in Oshawa. And tickets are on sale. And I will put the link for the tickets into the bio of this interview. But what is the capacity limit for the venue? Because now, like I said, as of March 1st, capacity limits have been lifted. So how many more tickets can you sell comfortably?
We've been told 250.
Okay.
we still have a long way to go. If some way, somehow, people are like, the universe is there for us and then we do sell that many, that would be wild. I'm I'm not a super hopeful guy. I have hope, but not that much. I know where like to settle like my hope. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We all have goal where we would end up. I think we could hit that, but we won't hit 250. And that's just, I'm trying to be positive, but like we are new still. Maybe down the line. It's not this first show, and if it happens, thank you everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it'll be damn close to it. Now, what do we say if we do this? If the first show is successful and you do another one in July, maybe you come back on, or maybe Gunner comes back on. Maybe we do a little contest. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right, maybe we give away 2 free tickets, and we'll think of something that they could do. 2 free tickets, maybe with a meet and greet, maybe go backstage, meet the whole roster, something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll put that package together for the next one. Not this one, guys, because it's like a week away, okay? We don't have the time. He's got to focus on doing his shit. We've got to build. We've got to grow. But Andrew and I, we've known each other for a little bit. Like I said, it's been 3 years in the making of this conversation. I got a couple more questions. Then I want to play a game with you if you're interested.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so you mentioned how music is a passion in your life and you're being able to mix both of these together. But when you spoke to the mini host, you said your workout playlist is Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot more women of pop in there, but yeah.
Okay, so women of pop, that's a genre that you enjoy. But what else?
Yeah.
Like what else is on your phone, man? What other music you got in there?
Yeah. Like hardcore punk, so it's like it goes from like here to here, and it's like it's wild. I don't have much rap. Not my cup of tea is rap, but like rock, like old school rock, like Kiss and Journey and some Led Zeppelin in there. I get some 41 and like Fall Out Boy, that style of music too. Pop punk, right? But yeah, it's mainly like this women of pop in my playlist. It helps my cardio, I guess. It's smooth. I tried elevator music on my leg day once. It like made me mad. So like I actually broke a PR that day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would drive me fucking crazy. I would want to kill everyone in the gym if that was what I was rocking that day for sure. So in terms of like, I mean, you're talking about the women of pop, like you mentioned some women that are staples. Taylor Swift, she's already Hall of Fame bound. Ariana Grande, she's Hall of Fame bound. But looking at the new crop of women in pop, who do you say is the next big one, the next breakout one? Like they've had successes, but if you look at some of the girls like Olivia Rodrigo, also I can't remember her name now. My daughter just played her song for me. It's kind of catchy, but I can't remember the name. Billie Eilish as well. Like these are all young up and coming women that are really pushing the boundaries of, you know, women in pop. So who would you say is the next one to keep the eye on? Like from someone who listens to women in pop, who's the next one to keep the eye on? Who do we pay attention to?
Ava Max.
Okay.
Yeah, Billie Eilish for sure, like 100%. Those two. I can't really think of anyone else. But those two always like I've asked that question. Someone asked me that before, so I always mention those two. Like those two for sure. I can't really think of anyone else.
Okay, and now the final question before we play this game: when you're about to go out to the ring, not your entrance music, but it's time for your match. You're about to go on. You got 4 minutes before you're about to go on. What is your go-to song that gets you hyped up before you go out there?
I made it like that WrestleMania 26 theme song.
Okay.
Do you know it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But also motivational speeches.
Okay.
There's one where it's like, I didn't come this far just to come this far, and it always starts like I play that one over and over and over, like throughout the week, like on show days. So that's the one.
My favorite motivational speech of all time, Rocky Balboa. Nobody's gonna hit harder than life.
Yo, look, look at that. My dad bought this for me. My dad bought this for me. Yeah.
Perfect.
This like one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. Like this quote, beautiful.
Yep. That's my go-to speech. It's no matter how hard you can get hit, it's about getting hit and keep moving forward. I love that one. That one gets me going, gets me revved up for sure. And you know, as we evolve in wrestling, one more final question just kind of popped into my head. As we evolve in wrestling and we grow, And if the promotion does become semi-successful, are you going to always balance both being in front and behind? Or are you going to gravitate more towards maybe behind if the promotion does continue to gain traction?
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to always like be on the show, but like I do want to give other people opportunities. So if there's like a bigger opportunity for someone else than me, I'm gonna give it to them. So I don't want this to be about me. Like I don't want ACW to be just like we've seen like some promoters how they work like to put like and stuff. But yeah, I don't want to be like that. But the time does come eventually. But I do want to focus on other people instead of myself.
Absolutely.
That's important.
I think that's a great attitude to have. And I think you're, like I said, you're a well put together young fellow. You got a great support system behind you. And I can tell both of your parents are probably phenomenal people. So I wish you and ACW, you, Noah, Gunner, and the one who will not be named, whoever that one may be. It's very intriguing to find out the one who will not be named. Maybe one day I'll know the one that will not be named. But I wish the four of you nothing but success. And I won't be able to make it to the first event because I do have prior family commitments. But I assure you, if there is one in July, we're going to make a promise now, and it's on camera. It's legit. If there is one in July, I will have one of the heads of ACW come back on Straight Talk Wrestling. We're going to give away 2 tickets and meet and greet for any of your favorite stars on the ACW roster that you want. And that's a promise. We got that? We got that, Andrew?
We got it. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So before you shout out your socials for everything that you got going, the game I want to play with you, I call it Forced Mount Rushmore. I pick 5 wrestlers at random from different eras in wrestling, and you have to rank them 1 to 5, as 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
And these are wrestlers that I'm picking at random, so you may not like any of them, but that's just the way the cards work. It may work that way, okay? So you talked about when you were younger, wrestling was always playing on your house. So I'm going to give you somebody old school, somebody who I feel to be, he's the GOAT of Canada, actually one of the GOATs of all time. I'm going to give you Bret the Hitman Hart as number 1. I'm going to give you another Canadian, which is, I'm proud to be Scottish because of this man. So I'm going to give you Roddy Piper, okay? So there you go. From the 90s, I'm going to go ahead and give you the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And I know that's somebody that you probably admire. From the 2000s, I'm going to give you Brock Lesnar in his first run. So not the Brock Lesnar we know now, but Brock Lesnar first run. So like 2000 to 2003, 4, somewhere around there. I'm going to give you that. And number 5, I'm going to give you the man everybody loves to hate from the 2010s, Ryback.
Okay. And 1 is 1 being the worst?
1 is the worst, 5 is the best. Right. So who do we got at number 1?
I'll have to put Ryback. Yeah. And then for 2, I put Roddy Piper.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to think. This is rough.
I know. It gets harder, right?
I'll do Brock Lesnar for 3.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels for 4.
Okay.
And I'll have to say the best for last, Bret Hart.
That's right. You see the picture behind me, right?
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So that's
those the reason why I wear pink and black.
100%. Listen, Bret Hart made Pink and Black gangster.
Yeah, he did.
Bret Hart made a gangster. One of my favorite promos of all time is him and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. When they fire Jimmy Hart, and they find out that he's stealing 10% of their money. You're a bloodsucker, Jimmy Hart. You're a bloodsucker. I love that. It's my all-time favorite promo. I posted on my socials not too long ago. It's one of my all-time favorites. I love it. It's absolutely epic. So I will put the link in the description of this before the show drops. And I'm going to probably drop this on the Monday or Tuesday of the few days before. So it'll give people still a chance to buy some tickets if they're in town. But where can they find you on the wonderful world of social media? And again, ACW, all information about ACW, where can they find all these things?
For Andrew Love on Instagram, Andrew.love 1.0. Facebook page, Andrew Love. Twitter, I don't use it anymore, but it's Andrew McLovin. And there's probably 2 zeros in there. I just can't remember. For ACW's Facebook, it's ACW Ontario. And then for ACW's Instagram, it's ACW Wrestling 21, I'm pretty sure. I don't run the ACW social media, so I forget it all. But I'm I'm pretty sure that's all the names. It will all be in somewhere around here, hopefully. The
Yes.
link, we'll put it in the link.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll put it all in the description.
I'll make sure they share this show on all the social medias too.
Awesome. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you. And like I
Thank you,
said,
thank you.
like I tell everybody, you are now officially, you always were, but now it's official. You are officially a member of the Straight Talk family. Anytime you want to come back and do this again, well, we already know we got one set up for July or August.
Yeah.
We already know we got that. But beyond that, anytime you want to chop it up, man, be an honor to have you, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys, you know who it is. It's your host, your boy, George Mackay. Check the links, check the socials, pay attention. You want to find out who's dropping with Andrew on the same week, you got to follow socials, okay? That's it, straight out. I don't tell anybody. Andrew and me are cool, but I'm not going to tell him. He wants me to tell him, but I'm not going to tell him. It's not going to happen. All right, Andrew, you really want to know?
I'll just find out.
I guess he knew I was going to say that doesn't matter. I was going to do my rock thing, man. You screwed it up. Jesus. All right, guys. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode on all available podcast platforms and hosted on Podbean. Also, check us out on YouTube at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Instagram at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Facebook at Straight Talk Wrestling, and on Twitter at _Straight Talk. And if you feel the need to buy some sweet merch, check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Leaving the scene with no trace, not in my league. You out of place. I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan.